And we're live. All right, welcome to yet another weekly call for the Merge Request Report Widgets working group. And we have some announcements. I know that it's read-only. Gina, Marcel, thank you so much for the update on the modals. Anything you want to discuss or questions somebody has on this topic? I feel like essentially it just unblocks us and it just adds more weight to the telemetry that we need to track. Sounds good. So thanks for that. I'll move on to the discussion items then. So I wanted to bring up that this is an effort that it's ongoing. I've tried to do it softly. I wanted to bring it up here, but I will be a little bit more aggressive this time, and I will go to each one of these groups managers and just ask them to give me a name, and then I'll just put them on the table. Because it seems that with the increasing number of widgets, we gotta have a DRI or a handle or a list of 2 people to nag in case we have something. This will also go to that Slack user group or documentation to say who's responsible for these widgets in case there's an incident or something. So this will be a key factor for the rollout, but also for the maintenance of the code base going forward. So with that being said, there's no update there, but I will take it upon myself to find, what's that Liam Neeson quote? Oh, this is being recorded. I will find them and I will make them the DRIs to find the DRIs for each widget. Good. Any questions there? Okay, so in the other section, the second topic is also we've been discussing the rollout for a couple of weeks now, and it feels, I asked for DRI for the rollout, and I've talked to Phil, and we feel that it's important that someone central orchestrates the rollout of the actual widgets, basically all of them. And we think that it's important that we as code review probably take that, and Phil is a better person to orchestrate that. For him to be able to fulfill that role, he needs to know the DRIs for all the widgets. So he's going to be looking into that. He's going to be syncing up with Fernando. So does anybody has any thoughts or questions about that? Okay, you're writing it down. Thanks, Kai. And so just recapping a bit, the idea there is to enable it for GitLab or GitLab and www as soon as it's possible for us. What we will need to make sure is that every widget that is currently under that global feature flag is basically ready for public display, and there's no duplicated widgets. What this DRI will not do is roll out individual feature flags. So he will only take care of the global feature flag. So if any of the DRIs are taking care of individual feature flags, they are responsible for rolling those out on their own. He will also sync up with Fernando about the tests to check if there's anything that he needs to account for. But I feel like this will get us over the line a little bit quicker. I don't expect it to happen over the next week, just because like workload from Phil for other things, but also while it takes time to identify the DRIs. But we are looking to get a move on this soon. Maybe next time I'll have a date for you, I'll hope. So I'll let you know any updates there. But we're all very excited to see this live and to start getting feedback from users. Just so I get this straight, the telemetry isn't a blocker, right, to turning it on? That's right?
Correct.
Okay.
It is nice to have, but it is not required to launch.
Sounds good. Kai, what's the date? Is that your question?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a troll, but also intentional, because you and I talked about this yesterday, and I think the concern that from a product perspective is we're starting to drag. We're getting into like the sort of holding for little things and not, it's hard to understand what we're looking at in terms of a timeline here. And so I think, yeah, the more we can figure this out, the better. And as far as I know, that the blockers are these 2 feature flags. And so I think it would be nice to get an update on the 2 feature flags for the 2 widgets that we're not trying to turn on. Because those are really the hard blockers right now.
Yeah. So yeah, my answer to that is soon-ish. Yeah, we're all in the same boat, and thanks for that question. And which does speak to the duration of this working group. It's like we're getting to the final end of it, since we're already getting. So I think Samantha is working on a new widget. Like that widget will not be followed along in the context of this working group. That will be part of like the normal process after the working group that dissolves. What would be so future tasks for the working group? I think will be basically updating documentation. That's what's remaining. Basically, it's basically just rollout and enabling. Rollout and updating documentation. That's basically just revising actually some bits that miss, and talking about responsibility, who takes, so putting the DRIs onto the documentation, any particular other things that we might want to add to the documentation that might be missing, because Fernando has some questions about polling, but that's already in the docs. So we want to make sure that the documentation is cool, and that will be the last, I guess, breath from this working group. Will be revising the documentation to make sure that everybody is informed about what they need to do if they want to add or update the functionality of the widgets or new widgets. Make sure that that's okay. I will worry about that much harder after the rollout. And that will be it. After that, I'll be proposing for dissolving of this working group. Unless you really enjoy this 30 minutes on the Thursday, but I feel like we're getting close to letting this baby walk on its own. Sounds good. And I'll take the opportunity to thank everyone here on the call, but also watching the recording, for the contribution that you've done over the past couple of months. Because looking at the widgets them on the page, it's easy to miss all the effort and joint effort that it started from the design team doing all the groundwork to identify the framework and how we need to cover all the bases and all this stuff. So all of that has been great work, and it's great to see that finally coming to fruition. So thanks, everyone. Kai, you have something that you want to?
Yeah, you can take it after. Can we block the feature flag in the rollout issue against the remaining work, so it's easier to understand what we're actually waiting on? I'm assuming there are issues to implement the feature flags that we could then block this feature flag issue against.
Yeah, I'll ask Phil to do that as part of the rollout.
It'd be before the rollout. So like if we're waiting on 2 feature flags, then this issue can't be worked until those are done. So
that issue is the rollout, isn't it?
Yeah, but we can't roll out until the other 2 widgets
I see.
their own feature
yes,
flags.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean now.
Yeah. So I don't know where those issues are tracked. So it'd be good to.
Me neither, but I will.
Yeah.
And that's it. Anybody has any other points they want to bring up? Then I'll give you some minutes back. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Bye.